Hi, this is Kimmy from HipHossip, www.hiphossip.com. That's HIPHOSSIP. Welcome to the Top 10 Trivia, Episode 2. Today we're talking about the top 10 saddest moments in hip-hop history. And when we talk about sad moments in hip-hop history, we're basically referring to sad things, which is more than likely a death in the family, in the hip-hop family, in the industry, and more. Now, I compiled a couple of things that we felt was very sad during this period. And my number 10 saddest moment in hip-hop history was the death of Freaky Tah. Now, most of you that you remember Freaky Tah was a member of the Lost Boys. And Lost Boys was a rap group that was very popular in the 90s. And it was an event in New York City in which all the people came out, you know, the industry events and all that stuff. Freaky came out with his friends, his pals, some of his bandmates, you know, Lost Boys. And at the end of the event, you know how stars and rappers leave in their limos and their cars and all that. Freaky somehow didn't want to go in the limo. He just didn't want to ride. He wanted to walk home to Brooklyn. And he wanted to savor the fresh air, smoke, and, you know, pretty much he wanted to just stroll home. And for some really ugly reason, someone attempted to rob him, and they shot and killed him. Well, Freaky died. And even the shooter, when they were caught and were taken to jail, they were like, oh my God, I killed Freaky Tah. I love this music. Well, you see why we tell you young men out there that shooting day and night to leave the guns alone? You can just about shoot the wrong person. So the number 10 saddest moment in hip-hop history was the death of Freaky Tah of the Lost Boys. That was one really sad story. The number 9 saddest moment in hip-hop history was the death of Lisa Lopez. Lisa Lopez was also known as Left Eye, and she was a member of the group TLC. And Lisa was in Honduras, and I believe she was vacationing with friends when, you know, it was kind of like a double tragedy. She hit a kid, the kid died, you know, and then they compensated the family of the kid. The very next week, she was speeding again, and at a very high speed, somebody who was sitting next to her was videotaping the whole thing, and boom, they all crashed. Everybody survived, but Lisa died instantly, 90 miles per hour. I don't know what that is in kilometers in Canada, but anyway, that's a high speed, and she died instantly. Her body, the autopsy in the morgue, was put online at a site called Rotten.com, and you know, the record company told them to remove that image or else. You know, it was so graphic, the family was sad, and it was just disrespectful. So we all cried. Her body was brought back to Atlanta. Tons of people showed up at the funeral at, you know, New Birth Baptist Church. It was just a really sad thing. And you know what? TLC was never the same after the death of Lisa Left Eye Lopez. And that was the 9th saddest moment in hip-hop history. The number 8 saddest moment in hip-hop history was the death of R&B singer Aaliyah. Aaliyah Dana Houghton was a nice girl, R&B singer. You know, she did her songs at 15 years old. She's singing all these hits back and forth, club anthem and all that. You know, she had a little things in the news with R. Kelly, the marriage and the annulment and all that. But generally, Aaliyah grew up into a really cool young woman until she decided to film a video called Rock the Boat. They decided to shoot the video in the Bahamas, and her crew, the video crew, the makeup artist, the stylist, everybody went down on that trip. And we saw them as they were making up the video on BET and all that. And when the video was wrapped up, they all traveled back to the States. On the day they got in the plane hardly even took off. It crashed. And at first it was said that the load was too much in the plane, and you know, some of the members of her entourage were heavy set, and there were too many people on board. There was just this whole plane weight thing that came up. But after an investigation, it just was determined that it wasn't the plane weight, it was the pilot. He was impaired, and he was using heroin, and it was very high at the time of the flight. Aaliyah's mother went ahead and sued the company, and she settled for millions of dollars, and the case closed right there, but that would never bring back that young woman, Aaliyah Dana Houghton. Aaliyah Dana Houghton, the 8th saddest moment in hip-hop history. The number 7 saddest moment in hip hop history was the death of Christopher Wallace, also known as the Notorious B.I.G. Biggie, Big Papa, we all know Biggie, Bad Boy Records. See, Biggie went to California, and as creepy as this gets, is a song on his CD, Life After Death. He had the CD, you know, Ready to Die, Life After Death, all these death themes, and they seem to come true. And, you know, he went to California. He actually had a track there called I'm Going to Cali, Cali, you know. They got to California, and it was the Soul Train Awards, and Biggie, you know, gave an award that night, and the awards went really well. And right after the awards, they went to the after party. In this case, it was the Vibe Party. And coming out of the Vibe Party, shots rang out into his car. And the same car also had Diddy in there. And Biggie was hit, one single bullet, and he died instantly. Actually, before he got to the hospital. It was so sad because on the Sunday that it happened, Sunday, March 9th, 1997, most people woke up that morning to actually hear the news, and it was just like, you know, several of these deaths. You woke up in the morning and heard it, and it was just devastating. And Biggie's family are actually suing the police department in LA because they claim that it was conspiracy and that, you know, a member of the police department actually shot Biggie, who worked for the gangs, and the police covered it up. So the judge has actually cleared the way as of yesterday. Today is May the 13th. So as of the 12th of May, you know, the judge has cleared the way for the case to go on. So the saddest moment, which is the number 7 saddest moment in hip-hop history, is the death of the Notorious B.I.G. The number 6 saddest moment in hip-hop history is the death of Tupac Shakur. Tupac Shakur's death was really bizarre because here is all this feud going on between Bad Boy and Suge Knight's death row, which Tupac was on. But what happened was Tupac and Suge were at a boxing match up in Las Vegas, and Tupac apparently had an argument with someone in the lobby, and that was caught on tape. And he gets in a car, a black BMW with Suge, and they get ready to leave, and shots rang out, and Tupac was hit several times on his side. In fact, Suge was hit too, but he was okay. And then he went to jail later for violating probation and other things. When Tupac died, you know, it was really a sad time, September of '96. And then the rumors started, the Elvis-like rumors, like he was not really dead. He went underground, blah, blah, blah. And everyone was like, is he alive? Is he dead? You know, ultimately somebody leaked the autopsy pictures, and we saw Tupac in the morgue, dead. He was lying dead. He had been shot several times, even before that. In the New York recording studio, you know, the one that got him, you know, into trouble. Something about raping a young lady, and then he got shot, and then he discharged himself from the hospital. You know, it's in the documentary. But it was really sad because ultimately Tupac was killed, and the rumors had to really subside. So the number 6 saddest moment in hip-hop history was the death of Tupac Shakur. After he died, all these songs came out, you know, albums and albums and albums. His mother took over all his music publishing and everything. That guy was working hard in the studio, even though he got into a lot of trouble. The number 5 saddest moment in hip-hop history is the death of a rapper called Proof. Proof is a Detroit rapper. He was a Detroit rapper and a member of the group D12. D12 is Eminem's protege group. And D12 basically, they were in the movie. They were in the movie 8 Mile Road, you know, the Eminem movie. And you know, this is one of the stories that really cringes you. 2006, Proof walks into a club. The bouncer interrogates him. Maybe it was what he was wearing or something. He gets mad and he takes out a gun and shoots the bouncer. And the bouncer's dead. And then the bouncer's brother comes right behind him and shoots him. And he's dead. And now we have 2 dead bodies. Oh my. So the story has never ended since then. The bouncer's family has sued Proof's estate for money. And that battle, believe it or not, is still going on today to recover something. You know, it's not even worth it. They're both gone. It's just been horrible and just very, very, very sad. So that's my number 5 saddest moment in hip-hop history. You know, loss of lives for nothing. Just total waste, you know? The number 4 saddest time in hip-hop history is the death of Gerald Levert. Gerald Levert, of course, we all know the R&B crooner, singer. And this was one of those things that really saddens you because his was an accidental death. Gerald Levert had some back problems, so he gets his prescriptions from the doctor. Now, most of you also know that I'm a pharmacist as well, 20 years. Well, anyway, the prescriptions he gets, he takes them for the back pain, and then he goes to the drugstore to get some over-the-counter things for something else. Interactions occur between some prescriptions and over-the-counter. That's why we pharmacists are also there to educate you on that. But not everybody asks, and not everybody knows there's even a reaction. There was a bad reaction, and Gerald Levert passed. He died. It was so sad, shocking. Nobody knew it was going to happen. November of 2006, and that is the number 4 saddest moment in hip-hop history. The number 3 saddest moment in hip-hop history is actually weird and worse because it's actually the death of Gerald Levert's brother, Sean Levert. Now remember, Sean Levert, Gerald Levert, and Eddie Levert, their dad were the OJs. Now only their dad is alive. Sean Levert died in a very mysterious circumstance. See, he had all these children and he had to pay child support, $84,000 to be precise. And you can classify him as deadbeat dad. So he goes to court, the judge is a woman, and she gets mad and sentences him to 22 months in jail. Then he's carted off to get jail. He gets there on a Friday, I believe, and on the Saturday morning he collapses in his cell. They rush him to the hospital, he's pronounced dead. What happened to him? The stress of the court case, a heart attack, force, restraining in the jail, nobody knows. But officially they said he had a heart attack. And that's the saddest time in hip-hop history. Number 3 saddest time in hip-hop history that I have is the death of Sean Levert of the OJs. The number 2 saddest moment in hip-hop history. That really is a sad one. It's the death of a singer and a writer in the music business for years. You know, this guy wrote songs for Aaliyah, songs for Usher, songs for different people. One of my favorite songs, We Need a Resolution, with Aaliyah and Timbaland. We need a resolution, we need a resolution. Rock the Boat, so many songs he wrote. His name is Static Major. Static was a producer, writer, singer, and you know, he produced for Lil Wayne. And most of you know Static in the Lollipop video. Lollipop is like number 1 right now, video and song. You know, la 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 lollipop. You know, Lollipop, that song, I mean, in the video you see Wayne and Static getting ready to go to the club, all dressed up and checking out themselves in the mirror and all that. And you know what? You know, when they're ready and they feel ready, the limo shows up. This truck-looking limo shows up with a fine girl, opens the door for them to get in there. More girls in there. They're all excited. They go to the club. You know, you see 2 guys really happy doing their thing. Static and Wayne were like this: bread and butter, potato and hot. You know, hot butter, you know, peanut butter and jelly. And in February of this year, 2008, Static went to the hospital for something, and a medical procedure went wrong, and he died. Members of this group are still telling us, updating us on what exactly happened, because the doctors have not really, you know, I see a malpractice case coming in this one. It was really sad and shocking. February of 2008, Static Major, the 2nd saddest moment in hip-hop history. Now the video is shot up to number 1, the song is shot up to number 1, and what do? We get Rest in Peace Static at the end of the video. That's not what we wanted to see. We wanted Static to enjoy his work, but we can't help it. So the number 2 saddest moment in hip-hop history was the death of Static Major. And finally, the number 1. What do you think the number 1 saddest moment in hip-hop history was? I mean, this really was a sad time for everybody. It's not even a hip-hop star, but it was a sad moment in hip-hop history. It's the death of Dr. Donda West, Kanye West's mother. Donda West was one of those mothers. I wouldn't call her a stage mother, but Kanye's mother was in his life. Kanye sang constantly about his mother, about his dropping out of college, about, you know, his love for his mother, Hey Mama. Kanye talked about his mother's Louis Vuitton bag. It was everything revolving around his mom. His mom wrote a book about him raising a child in hip-hop and all that. There was the book tour where everybody saw Donna West and Kanye everywhere. She was very visible. And then on November 12th, I believe it was 12th, November 11th of 2007, Dr. West went to perform plastic surgery. You know, this is not something that just happened. She wanted to have the surgery done. She called her hairdresser. She even left a message in the hairdresser's answering machine and talked about, she's going to get her head to the toe. I'm going to get myself fixed from head to the toe. She was excited. Kanye paid for all the procedures. We hear he regrets it. I mean, who wouldn't? She went to see a doctor, and the doctor said you have a risk of heart problems. Would suggest to get a second opinion from another specialist. But she did not get that special opinion, the second opinion. Dr. West went ahead and had surgery with a doctor, Jen Adams, who was, of course, another doctor that was seen on Oprah Winfrey Show and had a show on Discovery Channel. You know, pretty much he just did his job. And believe it or not, the day after the surgery, she had complications and she started getting short of breath. 911 was called, and Miss West died in the hospital of a heart complication. And that was truly sad. Kanye was in Europe on tour. He didn't come home at first, then later on he came home for the funeral and went right back on tour. You know, some people grieve different ways. And then he broke down in France or Sweden or one of those European countries while singing for his mom. It was truly a sad time. So those are the top 10 saddest moments in hip-hop history. Well, it's trivia that you have to know. I hope you enjoyed Top 10 on Hip Hossip TV. And once again, I'm Kemi for Hip Hossip, www.hiphossip, hip, H-I-P, Hossip, H-O-S-S-I-P. That's like gossip. hiphossip.com. And tune in next time for the next version of Top 10 Hip-Hop Trivia. In Toronto, Canada, I'm Kemi for Hip Hossip. Have a nice one. See you next time.
Did you sleep on the wrong side? Catching a bad vibe, and it's contagious. What's the latest? Speak your heart, don't bite your tongue. Don't get it twisted, don't misuse it. What's your problem? Let's resolve. We can solve. What's the cause? It's official. You got issues, I got issues, but I know I miss you. Yeah. Who should be hurt? Who should be blamed? Am I supposed to change? Are you supposed to change? Who should be hurt? Who should be shamed? Am I supposed to change? Are you supposed to change? Who should be hurt? Will we remain?